4-cylinder. Its AMG sibling also has a 2-liter turbo 4, but here it's good for 355 horsepower, 332 pounds-feet of torque. With all-wheel drive and a dual-clutch 7-speed automatic transmission, Mercedes says this thing hits 60 in just 4.5 seconds. Pretty good, right? Unfortunately, most of that seat-of-your-pants kind of feeling of power doesn't really come till 4,000 RPM on the tack. I blame some of that on the transmission. It upshifts very smoothly, but delays on downshift. Sometimes hunts gears is trying to kick down 2-3 gears at the same time, especially in the drivetrain's C mode. That stands for controlled efficiency. You might as well also say it stands for something like cut the fun or something. There's a sport mode, an S mode here. That does improve things a little bit, but overall the whole MO of the car seems to be upshift very soon and fight you on downshifts. And given how the balance of power is really at the top end of the tack, that doesn't really give it a visceral sense of fun unless you're throwing the car around. Do that, and the CLA45 disguises its front-wheel drive roots pretty well. The all-wheel drive system biases power up front under normal circumstances, and that does give the car a little bit of nose heaviness as you're kind of initially starting that turn in into a corner. But over long sweepers, it's pretty easy to get the rear end to come out into play with just the gas pedal. Now, our car has the base AMG Sport suspension. There's an optional AMG Performance suspension, but as it stands, body roll isn't too much, easy to kind of throw this car around. Steering isn't lightning quick, but it's good enough to play along and definitely makes the car fun, nimble in corners, a lot of fun to take on a back road. All of that comes in a package that's okay as far as drivability is concerned. Mercedes' tradition of accelerator lag seems to be alive and well here. It's not as bad in the CLA as it is in some of the automakers' larger cars, but even in sport mode, the 45 still takes kind of a beat getting off the line there. Ride quality, again, this car has the AMG Sport suspension with 18-inch wheels, not 19s, and the Performance suspension. As it is, it's decent around town, a little bit bumpy, but not out of what you'd expect for a performance car. Actually pretty livable on the highway, too. Now, our test car has the base seats for the 45 AMG. They hold you in pretty well in corners, but the backrest is kind of flat, and the seat cushions at the bottom here are a little bit too small for my legs, and I'm 6 feet tall. There are AMG Performance seats available. That's going to change the whole picture there, so check them out as well. Some of the CLA's bargain price roots show through even in the AMG here. Leather is optional in the 45. Our car has MB Tex, that's fake leather upholstery. Doesn't really look or feel much like the real thing. Materials along the upper dash and the upper doors are fairly consistent, but there's kind of some hard parts here along the lower parts of the dashboard where your knees kind of potentially knock up against. These door locks, the stems here, they're from the old C-Class. They need to go like yesterday. They are horribly cheap. Between the BMW M235i and the Audi S3, the CLA45 AMG has a number of loose competitors. Typical of AMG cars, it kind of establishes itself as the performance tourer of the group with decent ride quality, but characteristic of its architecture, not so good visibility or headroom in the front or rear seats. It has its moments, but we're still scratching our head over pricing. Pricing starts for the CLA45 right under $50,000. That means it's actually the cheapest AMG you can buy right now in the United States. But it's also more than $15,000 above an all-wheel drive CLA250. In terms of standard features that you get beyond the 250, xenon headlights, a little bit of extra bodywork, and larger wheels, not a whole lot else. So really